Hello and welcome to another episode of Love My Poland. When I first moved to Poland in 1999, one of the things I was curious about was whether there were visible signs of the Second World War. Obviously, I was interested in the culture and the language and the people of Poland, but I also wanted to see, when I got there 70 years later, could I see anything left over from that period of time? And the reason why is when I was in high school, I was a huge history buff. I especially liked World War II history. And we had a teacher named Mr. Fowler at Cypress Creek High School, Houston, Texas. If you're listening, I hope you see this. He was really good at illustrating the events of the Second World War. He kept all of the students so fascinated in the class. We were on the edge of our seats just waiting for the next story that he would share with us. I think that when I came over here, part of the reason I chose to come to Poland in the first place was probably the familiarity, although it was a brutal one, with the history of Poland. And as brutal as World War II was, we cannot forget that it was Poland where everything happened. It started here. It was Poland that was attacked by the Nazis in the September campaign of 1939. And living in Poland today, it's easy to lose track of the history. Poland is evolving so quickly. Poland is one of the fastest developing countries in the European Union, if not the fastest one. So it's easy to overlook the fact that so many incredible events happen right here in this land. So the question is, are there signs of World War II where I live in Częstochowa? Absolutely. And you don't have to look very carefully to see them. Take this military bunker you see right here, for example. This is a Polish military bunker built back in 1939, and it reads that we should respect the place where in September of 1939, soldiers from the 7th Infantry Division fought against the German Wehrmacht. And it was here that Polish soldiers lost their lives defending the motherland. So this is a very important place. It's a place that is a reminder for everybody driving by. So this bunker is nothing short of amazing. It's nearly 80 years old and it has stood the test of time. I cannot tell you how many times not only have I passed by here, but I've stopped here. One day I even spent 10 or 15 minutes inside just looking around and just kind of thinking about what Poland looked like back then and what must have been going through the minds of the soldiers inside the bunker. Just an incredible history. You know, I thought I was a total weirdo for having this point of view about bunkers until I recently found out that the city of Częstochowa has a map of every Polish bunker built in the area. You can tour all of the sites around here by bicycle or on foot. It's kind of hard to go by car, and I have done just that by bike. I'll put a link to the website if you're ever in the area in the description below. You know, bunkers and fortifications are all throughout Poland, not just in my area, and most cities have similar maps for touring them. My city of Częstochowa before World War II was located quite close to the original German-Polish border. If you're even a little familiar with the history, you know that Churchill, Stalin, and Roosevelt rewrote the map in this part of Europe, positioning Poland from the east to the west. Poland lost eastern land and gained former German land to the west. I'd like to share another story with you now that I hope is equally fascinating, if that's the right word to use in such a case. In 2016, my wife and I had the chance to buy a large piece of land, almost 1 hectare, near our home in the countryside outside of Częstochowa. And we didn't really look at this land at first. We just said, okay, it's beautiful, we'll take it, it's a good price. But after we bought the land, we went on foot. We took a little hike to the end of our property. And just meters off the end of our property, we discovered this. Now, unlike the Polish bunker I showed you before, this one by all accounts is a Nazi-built bunker facing directly north. From what I know from asking the village locals here, this bunker was constructed after the initial invasion to mainly fend off Russian troops advancing to the area. Now, I've been tempted to lift the top of the bunker and go inside like I did with this one here in Częstochowa, but it's in pretty bad shape. The top is cracked and quite honestly, I'm afraid to get in there. I won't dare try. Growing up in America's mainland, we obviously cannot find any remains of the war. You can of course see Pearl Harbor Memorial in Hawaii, or interestingly in Alabama, in Aliceville, Alabama, in my state, there is a former German POW camp. It's an American camp made for German prisoners of war. German prisoners of war were taken from Europe back to Alabama and kept in a camp there. I did a little history on that and they were treated really too nicely by us, but that is the history. You can check that out. I'll put information below about Aliceville, Alabama, prisoner of war camp for German soldiers. But once again, Poland is changing. As Poland slowly integrates with the rest of Europe, its cultures and traditions will change as well. It's inevitable. I see it in my own experience. I've changed my own Polish family. Just the other day, we did a July the 4th celebration with everybody, had a little party. So, you know, things are going to change. Poland is going to change. Whether we like it or not, that's happening. But fortunately, bunkers like this are here to remind us of such an atrocious past and hopefully help us to never allow such a thing to happen again. So long live Poland.